All right, guys. This is DJ Wolf. I gotta talk about this again. Your girl, Michelle Obama. Let me get off this burn here. Damn. Is back up to her freaking shenanigans again. Yes, I said it because it's true. She's back up to her shenanigans all over again. The wife of number 45, Barack Obama. And I'm like, really? But this time, they asked her a question about how would you feel, you ever thought about, having a son? I'm kind of paraphrasing most of this, but that is kind of what she said. And, she was asked that question. And she basically was like, well, I don't know if I could deal with another Barack. That is what she said. So, I'm thinking, honestly, Michelle either still has a great hatred for her husband and she despises him, or maybe she knows something about him that she ain't telling nobody. That's been a long-standing rumor about him for years. I'm thinking it's a little of both, but I know it's definitely her not standing Barack. And I've been knowing she's been saying a lot of nasty stuff about him ever since they got been out of the White House. They've been out of the White House for a number of years. 9 years, matter of fact. Roughly. And she has shown very little respect. She had a book deal. They actually had a book Netflix deal worth a lot of money. Millions of dollars, not billions, millions of dollars. They actually bought a house in Martha's Vineyard, and I thought I heard a while back, not long ago, that they had recently sold it. Now that I can't confirm, but I know they had a house there. In Martha's Vineyard. Nevertheless, this woman has trashed Barack all from the time they were in the White House on up. She says she would refer to herself as a, quote, single mother. She actually said that. She said a lot of nasty stuff about Barack. She has no filter about him at all. And even as recently as I think about a month or a couple months ago, he was still talking nice about it. Yeah. Which is kind of the way you should handle it anyway. But probably he should check her ass. For her to not even had no desire to have a legacy with a son like Barack tells a lot about her feelings for the man she married. There's no question about it. Of course, women going to ignore that because they're going, oh, she's independent, she's standing on her own 2 feet, she's doing what she wants. Let her have her life. She spent 8 years for Barack and blah, 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 and all this and that. Barack ain't never been known to cheat on her and nothing like that, man. He ain't had no scandals, no known scandals. His entire time he was in office, even prior to that, he wasn't known. Now, one thing he did say was kind of weird. He said, and I heard him say this, he had dreamed about being with a man. What man in their right mind, even if that was true, and they had a dream about what public come out and say that? He did. He sure did. That's weird. That's weird. That's weird in itself anyway. But, yeah, he said that. And I'm thinking, even if any man did, why would any man publicly go around saying that? That's another whole story. But he did fight for gay rights. So that's pretty well documented. Everybody knows he did do that. That's why they used to label him the gay president. Not that he was literally gay. But they labeled him the gay president because of his stance on gay rights. Yeah, he did. He did fight for that. That's well documented, so that's nothing new. But for Michelle to sit there and say what she said, she has reservations about her husband, things about him that she don't like. She really don't like about him. And that's why she said she didn't know she could stand having another Barack around. She obviously don't have it in for this man at all. I mean, she has it out for this man, but she don't have it for him per se. In other words, she's not really into him like that. It probably never was, for all we know. But that been a long-standing rumor for a long time. Now, my dad, God rest his soul, my dad used to tell me all the time, for years, he said he thought Barack was gay. Yeah, he said that right up front before all this up. He said that straight up. He said that man ain't no women. Sure did. Before I even heard him publicly get called out about it, my dad was the first person to ever tell me that about Barack Obama. Sure did. And he said Michelle was probably sleeping around. But with yeah. But people understand. Now I can't confirm, explain, or deny, because I have no evidence of that. I'm just saying a conversation privately that me and my father had, and my father came up with those thoughts. He had no evidence on it, but he thought that that's what was going on. But he definitely said that he thought Barack was gay. He said that many years ago. And that's before people were questioning him to begin with. Before he even made a statement about him dreaming about being a man. Sure did. So, but I'm not going to question whether he's gay or not, per se. But I am going to question his wife's loyalty to him. Gay or not. You know? She has no loyalty to this man. You had 2 daughters with this man. Okay? You had 2 beautiful children with him. And you just outright trash him and said you don't think you could deal with having another Barack in the house. What does that tell you? What does that tell me? That tells me that she has total contempt for him. She has nothing for this guy. To a point you wouldn't even want to bear his son if you was pregnant with him. If you was pregnant by him with a boy, you wouldn't want to deal with that. Wow. She never actually said why. Matter of fact, she did say why. But she said, I don't know if I can deal with that. And to me, that's a ghetto mentality. Y'all try to elevate this woman. She's so eloquent. Oh, so demure. So intelligent. But she comes off so ghetto. You know, you can't take the ghetto out of her. No matter where she got her education from. She's still ghetto. Okay? And she talks ghetto about her husband. I've never known, in all my 60 years, ever known, by the grace of God, by the way, ever known of any first lady, or former first lady, of that matter, to ever trash their husband publicly. Not even Hillary Clinton. All that stuff that Bill Clinton was doing. Bill Clinton was fornicating left and right. They said Bush, you know, Bush Jr., you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Had that thing with Condoleezza Rice. Now, I had heard that in some private circles about that. That was known. And then somebody publicly came out and said she had an affair with him. That was all alleged, though. But I don't know. You know. Yeah, George Bush supposedly had the thing with her. I don't know how true that was. You know, so I can't substantiate that either. But nevertheless, though, You never know. You never ever know. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I wouldn't be surprised at all. You know, people have been known doing that kind of stuff before. This is nothing new. Yeah, nothing new at all, folks. Nothing new under the sun, like they say. You know, I said I wouldn't be a bit surprised. I really wouldn't, because people in the higher places do freaky shit like people do in other places and everywhere else, you know. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Come on now, what these people doing these roads this morning, man? Got crazy stuff out here. I wouldn't do anything about that. Anyway, yeah. It's just my thing of it is she has no respect for this man. And she probably did cheat on him. I mean, the way she trashed this guy is atrocious to me. It's extremely atrocious to me, by the way. Come on, motherfucker. Yeah, it's atrocious the way that she trashed him, man. And who knows, man? It's like, you know, I don't give a fuck about this dude. Yeah, she's my friend. She didn't care about it. The man with the highest office in the land, in the free world, really. And you talk about him like he a dog, like he a total dog. This guy speaks nothing but however he put you in the highest of regards as a woman. You know, he put me to shame. You know, I mean, I speak very highly of my wife. You know, and I've been married a little longer than he has. I've been married almost 35 years. But he make me sound like a dud compared to the way he speaks about his wife. Not that I trash my wife, because I don't do that. And I don't, geez, man, what is this fool on this truck doing? Weaving. Not that I trash my wife, because I don't. But what I'm saying is, he put the gold standard on Michelle. She put turd sauce on him. You know, compared to the way he talk about her. You know, he has never had a bad thing to say about her, and yet she still don't talk about him in high regards. You know, do you know the kind of pressure that this man had to deal with as president? Now, don't get me wrong. There's things about Barack Obama as president I did not like, and I don't like the fact there's things that he could have done as president he didn't even bother to stand up to do for us. That he could have done and should have done it, and he wouldn't do. You know, but I'm talking about that in another video. Nevertheless, you don't know the pressure that it took for him to do what he had to do as being biracial, the stuff that he put up with. And yet you want to sit there, of all people, his closest confidant, his wife, his right, you know what I'm saying? His better half, or supposed to be his better half, to trash him like that publicly. You have no regard for this guy. You have no respect for this man. You know, none. I thought she was done with all that, but no. Some ask her a question because they know she easily doesn't give a fuck about him, and that's a shame. He became the first black president of this country, of the free world. How many black presidents you know that's been the president of the free world? Canada, England, Australia, New Zealand, those places. You ain't seen it. You see it here though. Damn. It's ridiculous, man. It's truly ridiculous. And they still don't show him no love. They still, you know, she still won't show him no love. I mean, it's like, it's just, she's talking about, oh, we're not divorcing, you know. But he don't seem to care, 'cause I think they did an interview with me. He's like, he kind of blew it off about her trashing. Which, of course, that's what he's going to do. He has a legacy to uphold. But I don't like the way she put him out there, though, on Front Street. It's not right. George Bush wife doesn't do it to him. Hell, all that mess that Bill Clinton was doing, Hillary didn't even do that to him. Now, let's look at it this way. Hillary has more respect for Bill for what he did to her than you have for Barack for what he didn't do to you. Hey, that's something. Oh my God, this traffic's gonna be a mess today, man. Lord have mercy. It just. Oh, here we go already. Damn. I left a lot. Should have left a little earlier. Man. It's just ridiculous, man. I'm sick of her stuff, though. I am. You know, you're entitled to your opinions about certain things, but not to a point where you trash your husband. She completely trashed this guy. No, I wouldn't want to have another Barack on. Why you even responding? You could just say, even if you had nothing good to say about him, which most public didn't really need to know. Even if you didn't have nothing good to say, man, you could at least just say, well, we never thought about that. Never thought about having. We just want our kids healthy. If it was a boy, I would love him just as I would if it was a daughter, it was a girl. I would love him just the same. The main thing I would want him to be healthy and have a healthy life, if that was the case. But they knew that she can't stand Barack. And she don't have a problem getting sound bites and likes. That's what she wants. She wants to be able to have the freedom to do what she wants off of his back and then be a turncoat with no care in the world. I guess she's saying, well, what are you going to do, divorce me? That's what she's doing, because he probably ain't got a prenup. He likely don't have a prenup. That's why she trashed him. She knows it. It's just a shame, man. He does have some kind of legacy. He did work hard to get where he was at as president twice. Remember, he did get reelected. He was in office for 8 years. And he deserves a little bit of respect. I respect him for that, my damn self. Even though I don't think that he respected his constituents the way he should have, particularly us. He didn't ride for us like he should have did, and I will say that. But as far as him having a legacy as the first black president, that was an inspiration to kids. My son, when he graduated high school in 2010, guess what? They had a record number of kids graduate. They had almost 700 kids from this class graduate of seniors. 700 seniors graduated from his high school. 700. Okay? And that was like not just at his high school, but high schools across the country. Black kids were graduating in record numbers because of their inspiration from Barack Obama. And this bitch, this bitch Michelle had the nerve to trash him. And she continues to do that. She has no respect for him. After all he did to put her on Front Street, to make her as famous as him, and it still ain't enough. She had nerve not to go to Carter's room, and Carter was a big proponent of women's rights. Of all the presidents that you would show up for, you didn't show up for former President Jimmy Carter at his funeral because of your selfishness. Even if you were on vacation, was it really going to hurt you to fly to go to his funeral and then go back and resume your vacation? Well, like you was doing anything else. I'm sure you weren't. That's why you was on vacation. It wouldn't have hurt you. It ain't like you weren't good for it. You got the money. You got the means. You had the means to do what you wanted to do. And yet you still didn't have enough respect to go. Then you wouldn't go to Trump's inauguration, second inauguration, which is a gray area there. I can understand why you wouldn't want to go. But he got elected. Be respectful for the sake of your husband, who was former president in his own right. I expect you should have won. I don't see you trashing Trump. She ain't had one bad word to say about Trump. Ain't that something? This woman had not one bad word to say about Donald Trump. But she has everything bad to say about her husband, who puts her on a complete pedestal. A crystal pedestal, what I say. And I say crystal because it's crystal clear that he really cares about her. But it ain't so crystal about her ass. And he puts her right on a pedestal, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she trashed him. Trashed him. Completely and utterly trashed this guy. Mm-hmm. They go show you she has little regard for this man. Little regard for him. And I'm completely appalled and ashamed and upset and disappointed in her. This is a woman I actually admired at one time. You know. Because I thought she really cared about this guy. She didn't give a fuck about this guy. She said she hated this guy for 10 years. And then, you know, some of the comments was talking like, oh, well, she hated this guy for 10 years. Don't mean anything. Are you serious? She said she hated the guy for 10 years, the first 10 years of the marriage. She could not stand him. That was a direct quote from her. And you said it means something? And she still trashing him now? Really? Yeah, somebody actually said that. I was like, oh, it don't mean anything. Yes, it does. That means she never cared about this guy. For 10 years? I can't stay at I can't stay my wife for 2 weeks. She told me she didn't like this guy for 10 years. She couldn't stand him. That's what she said. This woman doesn't give a damn about this guy. At all. Not about his legacy. Not about even him as being president. None of that mattered to her. The only thing that matters to her, because based on comments she's made, even on the podcast, is that she didn't get the shine that he got. That's what she really wanted. Once she saw the bright lights, spotlights and the cameras, she felt everything should have been focused on her ass as well as him. You know? And then you got women in the comment chats and stuff like that, sis-boo buying her because she didn't show up at Carter's funeral or Trump's inauguration. She should have been both. I can understand that one being at Trump's, but you should have showed up. It ain't like you had to go to the after balls and all of that. You had to do all that. That I could understand. I'm not showing up for the girls. I'll show up for this, but I ain't going to show up for the rest of it. That I could ride with her on that. I'm not a fan of Trump myself, but that's another whole story. But out of respect for your husband, you should have did that. Because he paid respect for you publicly each and every time. I have never, in all my years, watched Barack Obama publicly on television and any other media, ever heard him disrespect him. Not once. Even after they've been in office. He even got deals with you, big deals with Netflix and stuff like that. Book deals. And you still trashed him. He helped you get that. And you still trashed him. How dare you? How dare you? You have no kind of respect for this man. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. It's ridiculous. All right, guys and gals, I'm going to talk about this later. This may be a part 2, but I doubt it for right now. But I am a little ticked at my show. I'm just disappointed in her. I have no respect for her anymore. I've lost all respect for her ass. She's a hood rat in disguise. That's basically what she is. And I think I'm going to call it that. A hood rat in disguise. I'm out.